Hi, my name is Gerhard Gschwandtner, and welcome to our Selling Power podcast. Today we have the pleasure of meeting with Eric Lofholm, and he's the president of Eric Lofholm International. Welcome, Eric.
Gerhard, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, I'm very motivated because you give free motivational sales training classes for sales teams. So tell us how that works.
For a little over 17 years, I've been going in and speaking at weekly sales meetings. I am passionate about working with salespeople. I started off as a bottom-producing salesperson many years ago, and once I received professional training, my sales significantly increased. And so I just love helping salespeople, and I found that a great way to do it is by contacting companies that have sales teams, and I'll come in and be a guest speaker. If it's local here in Sacramento where I live, I'll speak to the team locally, and if they're out of the area, anywhere in the world, I can do a free webinar or a free conference call for about 30 to 45 minutes and join the sales team at one of their, typically it's a weekly or monthly sales meeting.
That's awesome. How did you become a sales trainer?
Well, I never had the goal to even go into sales. I ended up at a sales job a little over 20 years ago and was the bottom producer at that company. And at the end of my first year, I had missed the quota, which was $10,000 a month in gross sales, 2 months in a row. My manager pulled me into the office, and he wrote me up, and he's like, you're my bottom producer, which I knew. You've missed quota 2 months in a row, which I also knew. And he said, you have one more month or you're out. And so I became very motivated to increase my sales results. And then I met a gentleman who you've done a lot of business with in training, Dr. Donald Moyne. And Dr. Moyne taught me many of his sales ideas. I received professional sales training for the first time in my life. I made quota that month. And then the next month, I became the top producer on that sales team. I went from worst to first in 60 days. And one of the gifts I was born with is the gift of teaching. So I started teaching my coworkers what I had learned from Dr. Moyne. I then went to work for Tony Robbins, and I worked for Tony for 3 years. And when I left Tony Robbins' organization, just about 18 years ago, I started my current company, Eric Lofholm International, and I've been working full-time helping salespeople now for ever since then.
That is an amazing story because the deadline that your sales manager gave you became really the lifeline for your future. And I remember Dr. Donald Moyne has written an article in Selling Power where he talked about the patterns of persuasion of ultra-successful salespeople. And I know he has helped a lot of salespeople like yourself achieve peak performance. What did you learn from Tony Robbins?
One of the main things that I learned from Tony was, and this is an area that a lot of salespeople have a challenge with, is consistency of effort. And so I challenged myself, Gerhard, to play on a scale of 1 to 10 at a 7 or higher every day. And a lot of salespeople, their results are up and down, so they have great results and then their results fall off. And I've prided myself in consistency. And that was something that I really got from Tony, because one thing about Tony Robbins that you just kind of get about him is he puts out an extraordinary amount of effort and energy in his daily life. And I modeled that in my own way, and I brought it to my sales career, and it's made a huge difference for me.
And I think you're so right, because selling is a transfer of energy. And if you don't have it in you, you cannot get it out of the customer. So that's a very good topic. What will be another topic that you're teaching?
I love how-to sales techniques. And so coming in and sharing, great tips on closing skills or objection handling. Sometimes we do what I call user-generated content, where I'll challenge everybody in the room, what's one thing that you could do differently in order to increase your results? And we end up having a discussion about it. So they're coming up with their own ideas. So I'm a big believer in professional development. I've seen what an impact it's had on my own career. I've seen what an impact it's had with my clients. So I'll come in and encourage them to invest in themselves and spend time outside of work, bettering their skill sets, and also sharing a couple of great ideas with them in the meeting. And then when I set up the meeting, if you're listening right now and you're a sales manager and you'd like me to do one of these free talks, before we do it, you and I will talk on the phone. And I'll ask you, is there a certain message that you'd like me to deliver to the team? Because it's different when it comes from an outside expert. I might share the same idea that the sales manager's been sharing with the team, but they hear it differently. I've written 10 books on sales and success. So I come in as an international sales trainer and reinforce any of the key ideas that the sales manager would like reinforced. Every single talk is different. I've done this over 2,000 times through the years, literally, in companies all over the world. I've never done the same talk twice because every group's different. So I'm going to talk to the manager and ask them, what are the key ideas that you'd like me to share? And they'll let me know how much time I have. Usually it's 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes I'll speak for an hour. Sometimes it's 20 minutes. It needs to fit in with whatever time you have allotted at the sales meeting. And you can let me know. Maybe you want them to work on prospecting. Maybe I'm talking with a company right now, and they sell private jet usage. And so if you want to fly, with a private jet, that's what they do. And the culture within their organization, they don't do outbound prospecting. They've been relying on their existing accounts. And so that's the message they need to hear, is it's time to roll up the sleeves and proactively reach out to new prospects. So it just depends. Maybe it's referrals. Maybe there's a contest that they're having. But I'll talk with the manager in advance. We'll get on the same page, and they can expect a dynamic, outstanding, content-rich, motivational training. Everybody will get at least one great idea. So that's the way we do it.
What are two of your favorite concepts that you share in those meetings?
One of them, I love doing a level 10 exercise. And so how it works is, let's say it's a morning meeting, and I'll do a little motivational thing with them. I'll say, I'm going to say good morning. You say good morning back at a level 6, and then we do that, and then we play at a level 8, and then we play at a level 10. And then I ask the audience, so let me ask you a question. Over the last 30 days, what level have you been playing at on a daily basis? What level have you been playing at in prospecting? And so when they start thinking about that, in a lot of cases they go, wow, man, I've been playing at a 4 in my prospecting, or my attitude has been at a low level. And so I love sharing that with them and encouraging them to step up and play at a higher level. And then I also love sharing some great presentation skills, whether it's teaching them about the art and science of storytelling in a presentation, or giving them some examples of probing questions, or talk to them about the sequence of their presentation. Other times I'll talk about productivity tips and getting them thinking about prioritizing their day and highest and best use of their time. There's a whole range of topics that we can talk about, but those are some of my favorite ideas.
I love the level 10 idea the most because when you look at your customers are usually a 10. And a 10 always likes to buy from a 10. But if you go in and you look like a 5 or sound like a 5, a 10 will not spend a lot of time with you.
That's right. And one interesting thing, Gerhard, is that, and I learned this from Tony Robbins, was to think about your day in terms of where is your effort level on a scale of 1 to 10. I think most people, they don't even give it any consideration. So they don't wake up in the morning with the intention that they're going to play at a 7, 8, 9, or 10. They just play at whatever level they play at. And I really learned that idea from Tony about measuring your effort level on a daily basis. And I proved to myself that I can play at a 7, 8, 9, or 10 every day. I try to play at a 10 every day, and it's kind of like trying to sprint a marathon. It's just too much. But I found that if I can maintain at least a 7, and certain days I'm at a 10, and I found that consistency of effort has been key in my own personal sales production and in the building of my successful sales training company. And it's something that I'm very passionate about sharing with people. And I have a YouTube video up that if you're listening to this and you'd like me to send you a copy of it so you can see me do it in action. I was a speaker at the Get Motivated seminar earlier this year in front of 1,800 people, and I did the level 10 exercise to these 1,800 folks, and I videoed it. And so if you want to see that video, you can contact me and I'll send that out to you, and I'd be happy to bring that concept into your next sales meeting to motivate your team and encourage them to peak perform. I have spoken in so many different industries, from a real estate office to financial services. I even did a talk years ago in Microsoft. I've done talks for consulting companies, car dealerships, network marketing. The ideas that I teach, they're universal success principles along the lines of a Zig Ziglar or Tom Hopkins, principles that anybody can benefit from. The industry makes no difference. Where the sales team's located makes no difference because of conference calls and webinars. For those teams, those sales managers that see value in bringing in an outside expert, that believe in professional training, I typically do, 4, 6, maybe 7 of these a month. So, if you're interested, we'll give you some information at the end of this podcast on how you can request me to come in and do a free speech for your team.
So how does that work? Explain that quickly.
Well, you could just go to my website, which is ericlofholm.com, and find the information about having me be a free guest speaker. There's an opt-in form. You just put in your contact information, and that way I'll be notified that you're interested in having me do a free talk for you, and then you and I will get on the phone. I'll answer any questions you have, and then we can select a date that works and book it.
So people can call you and then consult with you for about 15, 20 minutes, and then you make a decision of whether to speak and what to talk about.
Exactly. When you fill out the form, or you can send me an email, eric@ericlofholm.com, and I'll reach out to you. My assistant will contact you. We'll schedule a time to talk. You're not committing at that point. Then you and I will hop on the phone. We'll talk about your team and the upcoming dates that you have available, and we'll compare it with my schedule. And if we can find a date that works and everything syncs up, then I'll come out and I'll do a free talk for your team. And we'll create some great value and encourage and inspire everybody on your team.
Eric, I have one final question, and I'm going to put you on the spot. What makes you awesome?
I am passionate about helping salespeople. I started off in commission sales as a salesperson. I still sell to this day. I'm the top producer in my company, and I have a huge heart for helping salespeople. So I can relate with your team because I am them. I'm in the trenches like them, and I'm also passionate about training. I've been reading, the sales books and doing my own coaching programs and attending seminars. So I'm like a walking encyclopedia when it comes to sales ideas. So if you like somebody who's really passionate, who really loves helping salespeople, then I'm the right person for your team.
Well, that's what I love about you. You're contributing to the growth of the profession of selling, and I think it's a very noble of you to reach out through this forum where you offer sales managers across the globe a 45-minute free motivational session where people can take a lot of notes and improve their sales. I commend you for that.
Thank you, Gerhard. It was wonderful spending this time with you today.
Likewise. So anybody who would like to get more information, reach out, go to Eric's website, ericlofholm.com. Thank you.